If you're a man over 60, understanding the health of your prostate is more important now than ever. Many men quietly suffer from prostate problems without realizing how much their daily habits may be contributing to the issue. You might wake up several times at night to use the bathroom, or feel like your bladder never fully empties. These are not just annoyances. They are clear signs that your prostate could be enlarging, and left unchecked, this can lead to discomfort, restless nights, and more serious health concerns. But here's the good news. Prostate problems aren't just a natural part of aging. Simple changes in your everyday routine can make a huge difference. Some men in their 80s live comfortably without any prostate issues because they made key adjustments early on. In this video, we're going to explore the 10 most common habits that may be silently harming your prostate right now. Understanding these habits and how they affect your body is the first step toward a healthier, more peaceful life. It's never too late to take control, and with the right knowledge, you can protect your prostate and enjoy the comfort you deserve. If you are not subscribed, subscribe and activate the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. If you like the topic of this video, please comment 1. If you don't, please comment 0 to let me know how I can improve and make better videos for you. Now, let's begin. Habit 1. Not managing chronic stress. Throughout my career as a physician, I've met many men who lived through decades of hard work, family obligations, and all the curveballs life could throw. I noticed a pattern among those who developed troublesome prostate symptoms later in life. One common thread ran through their stories. Stress, quiet and relentless, was always in the background. It's easy to underestimate the toll that chronic stress takes, especially for men of your generation, raised to grit your teeth and carry on, no matter what. I remember one patient, Mr. Harold, a retired railroad engineer. For most of his life, Harold prided himself on keeping his worries to himself. He'd weathered layoffs, helped his children through college, and nursed his wife through illness without ever letting anyone see him falter. Yet, when he came to see me in his late 60s, it wasn't just his silver hair or lined face that told the story of his years. It was the exhaustion in his eyes, the tension in his voice, and the frustration in the way he described waking up multiple times each night, unable to sleep through because of constant urges to go to the bathroom. No one had ever explained to him that stress could reach that deep. You see, when we talk about prostate health, most people imagine it's only about aging or diet. But the truth is, the body and mind are intricately linked. Chronic stress triggers a cascade of chemical reactions that quietly, but powerfully, influence the prostate. The hormone cortisol, released during stress, doesn't just stay in your head. It travels through your bloodstream, affecting every cell it touches. Over time, constant high cortisol levels lead to inflammation throughout the body, including the prostate. This inflammation, though invisible, causes tissues to swell and become irritated. But stress does more than just that. It tightens the muscles of your pelvic floor, reducing blood flow to the organs below your belt. With less circulation, your body has a harder time healing small irritations or fighting off infections. Nerves around the prostate become more sensitive, amplifying even minor discomfort into full-blown urgency or pain. Night after night, as anxiety and worry swirl, sleep becomes shallow and broken, robbing your body of the rest it needs to repair and protect itself. For men like Harold, and maybe for you, chronic stress doesn't come from one big event. Instead, it creeps in through small worries. Concern for your children and grandchildren, health scares, adjusting to retirement, even the fear of losing independence as you age. Each worry is a drop in a bucket, and over time, that bucket fills to overflowing. Many men keep their struggles silent, thinking that admitting to stress is a sign of weakness. But the truth is, your body always keeps score, even when you try to ignore it. The good news is that managing stress isn't about being tough or pretending nothing bothers you. It's about giving your body the same care and compassion you'd offer to a friend or loved one. Simple daily practices can make a world of difference. I've seen men transform their prostate health just by learning to slow down, breathe deeply, and create small moments of peace in their day. gentle stretching, a daily walk outdoors, 10 minutes of mindful silence, or a warm bath before bed can do more than just calm the mind. They lower cortisol, relax tight muscles, and allow the body's natural healing to begin. Social connection matters, too. Sharing a laugh with an old friend, reminiscing with family over dinner, or simply sitting in a sunbeam with your pet. These moments lower stress hormones and support your health in ways no medicine ever could. Even sleep improves when stress is managed, creating a ripple effect that touches every part of your well-being. You don't have to solve every problem or erase every worry. But by acknowledging stress and giving yourself permission to rest, breathe, and connect, you send a powerful message to your body. You are safe, and you deserve comfort. Over time, you may notice that your nights are less interrupted, your discomfort lessened, and your outlook brighter. The journey to better prostate health starts not just with what you eat or drink, but with a simple, loving act of managing the stress that life brings your way. Habit 2. Carrying excess belly fat. For many men, a little extra weight around the middle feels almost inevitable with age. Maybe you've looked in the mirror and noticed your belt notch creeping outward, or you've laughed it off as your retirement belly. After all, a bit of softness around the waist seems harmless. Just a part of getting older, something most guys accept without a second thought. But what if that extra belly fat is doing more harm than you realize, especially to your prostate? Let me tell you about Sam, one of my longtime patients. Sam was a proud grandfather, an avid fisherman, and the kind of man who never let a second piece of pie go to waste at family gatherings. For years, he brushed off the slow but steady growth of his waistline. He figured as long as he stayed active enough to bait his hook and mow the lawn, he was doing just fine. But as he entered his 70s, he began to notice changes that made him uneasy. Frequent urges to use the bathroom, broken sleep, and an uncomfortable fullness that seemed to settle in his lower abdomen. When Sam finally came to see me, we talked not just about his symptoms, but about what was going on inside his body. I explained how carrying excess belly fat isn't just a matter of appearance or comfort. It's a silent signal that the body's chemistry has shifted in ways that can deeply affect prostate health. The fat stored around the waist isn't like the padding on your arms or legs. It's active tissue, constantly sending out inflammatory signals. These chemical messengers travel throughout the body, stirring up inflammation wherever they go, including in the prostate. Inflammation is the silent culprit behind so many issues for older men. When belly fat releases these chemicals, it keeps the prostate in a state of low-level irritation. The result? The gland swells and becomes more sensitive, making every trip to the bathroom more urgent and uncomfortable. On top of that, excess abdominal fat messes with your hormones, especially testosterone and estrogen. The delicate balance of these hormones is crucial for prostate health. Too much belly fat lowers testosterone and raises estrogen, a combination that can lead directly to prostate enlargement and all the annoying symptoms that follow. Sam was surprised to learn that even a few extra inches around his waist could have such a powerful effect. He asked me, "So what do I do? Diets haven't worked for me in years." I reassured him that the answer isn't extreme dieting or running marathons. Small, sustainable changes often have the greatest impact. We talked about simple steps, taking a daily walk, adding more vegetables to his plate, and cutting back just a bit on those sweets and processed foods he loved. Even 10 minutes of movement a day can begin to shrink belly fat, lower inflammation, and relieve pressure on the bladder and prostate. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 1 below to let me know that you are still here with me. I also reminded Sam that carrying excess belly fat doesn't just hurt the prostate. It puts extra pressure on the entire pelvic area, making it harder for the bladder to empty and increasing nighttime trips to the bathroom. The good news is that every pound lost lightens that burden. Losing just a few pounds, often as little as 5 or 10, can lead to noticeable improvements in urinary symptoms and overall comfort. Change doesn't have to happen overnight. The journey to a healthier waistline and a happier prostate starts with one small decision at a time. Swap out a sugary snack for a handful of nuts. Choose an after-dinner stroll instead of another TV show. Pay attention to portion sizes at meals. Each of these changes sends a positive message to your body. And over time, your waist will thank you, your energy will return, and your prostate will feel the relief. Sam took this advice to heart. Over the months, he lost a few inches, slept better, and found himself spending less time worried about the bathroom and more time enjoying life. His story isn't unique. For men over 65, addressing belly fat is one of the most important, achievable steps toward lasting prostate health and a better quality of life. Your golden years are meant for making memories, not counting trips to the restroom. By caring for your waistline, you're caring for your future in ways that matter every single day. Habit 3. Eating red meat excessively. For many American men, there's nothing quite as comforting as the smell of a steak sizzling on the grill, or the ritual of gathering around the table for Sunday pot roast with family. Red meat has long been at the heart of our meals and memories, whether it's burgers at a summer barbecue or a perfectly cooked prime rib at a special occasion. But as the years go by, the same foods that once brought joy and strength can quietly begin to take their toll, especially when it comes to prostate health. Let me share the story of George, a retired teacher who prided himself on his backyard grilling skills. For decades, George believed that a meal wasn't complete without a generous serving of beef, pork, or his beloved sausages. He loved sharing his culinary creations with friends and family, and for a long time, he didn't think twice about reaching for second helpings. But as he moved into his 70s, George started noticing changes. More frequent urges to urinate, a growing sense of discomfort after meals, and an overall sluggishness that left him feeling less like himself. When George came in for his checkup, our conversation turned to his eating habits. He was surprised when I explained how eating too much red meat, especially processed meats like bacon, ham, and hot dogs, can be a major factor in prostate problems for older men. You see, red meat isn't just rich and flavorful. It's also loaded with saturated fat and, in processed forms, often contains preservatives and chemicals. These ingredients don't just affect cholesterol or heart health. They stir up inflammation throughout the body, including the prostate. Inflammation is one of the hidden culprits behind prostate enlargement and urinary troubles. The body treats a steady diet of red meat, especially if it's frequent, as a low-grade attack, triggering an immune response that causes tissues, including the prostate, to swell and become irritated. What's more, the saturated fat and additives found in many meats can throw off the delicate balance of hormones like testosterone and estrogen, both of which play a role in prostate size and function. And as digestion naturally slows with age, red meat lingers longer in the gut, contributing to weight gain and placing even more pressure on the pelvic region. George admitted he'd never thought of food as something that could fight back against him, especially not the food he loved most. He wondered if he needed to give up his favorite meals forever. I assured him that enjoying red meat in moderation wouldn't ruin his health, but making some changes could bring real relief. We talked about limiting red meat to just once or twice a week, and swapping it out on other days for lean proteins like chicken, fish, or plant-based options such as beans and lentils. Meals rich in vegetables, whole grains, and healthy fats do more than fill you up. They calm inflammation, help manage weight, and support better digestion, all while being gentle on the prostate. George took this advice to heart. He became more creative with his grilling, discovering that salmon and marinated chicken could be just as satisfying, and even tried grilling veggie kebabs. Gradually, he noticed he was sleeping more soundly, making fewer bathroom trips at night, and enjoying a renewed sense of energy he hadn't felt in years. His family, too, was happy to embrace new flavors and healthier habits. The takeaway is simple. You don't have to say goodbye to all the foods you love, but by rethinking how often red meat appears on your plate, you can make a real difference for your prostate and your overall health. A little moderation and a little adventure in the kitchen goes a long way. Your body, your comfort, and your family will thank you for it, allowing you to enjoy many more years of good meals and good company. Habit 4. Avoiding doctor visits. All across America, there's a common thread among men of a certain generation: a quiet reluctance to visit the doctor. Perhaps it's pride, perhaps it's a belief in self-reliance, or maybe it's just the desire to avoid bad news. Many grew up hearing, "If it ain't broke, don't fix it." For years, this mindset served you well, helping you push through work, raise families, and meet every challenge head-on. But when it comes to your health, especially your prostate, this habit can quietly work against you. Take the story of Larry, a retired machinist who always prided himself on taking care of things himself. If something broke in his house, he fixed it. If a family member needed advice, he was there. But when Larry started waking up 2, 3, even 4 times a night to use the bathroom, he brushed it off as just getting older. When his wife urged him to see a doctor, he'd wave her away, convinced he didn't need any help. Months turned into years. The nighttime trips became more frequent, and Larry found himself avoiding long car rides or outings with friends because he worried about finding a restroom in time. He felt frustrated and embarrassed, but old habits die hard. It wasn't until he experienced sharp pain and couldn't urinate at all that he finally went to the emergency room, only to discover his prostate had grown so enlarged it was blocking his bladder. A simple checkup, years earlier, could have caught the problem before it reached that crisis point. Larry's story is more common than you might think. The truth is, prostate problems often start silently. Early on, you may have only the slightest symptoms, a slower stream, a bit more urgency, or maybe nothing noticeable at all. By the time these signs become impossible to ignore, the problem can already be advanced, making treatment more complicated. Many men avoid seeing a doctor out of embarrassment or fear. It's understandable. Talking about urinary issues or getting a prostate exam isn't anyone's idea of a good time. But regular checkups are one of the most powerful tools you have to protect your health and maintain your independence. Simple tests, like a PSA blood test or a digital rectal exam, take only minutes, are often painless, and can provide early warning signs before things become serious. Seeing your doctor regularly isn't just about finding problems. It's about peace of mind. When you take charge of your health, you gain the knowledge and options needed to make the best decisions for yourself and your family. In many cases, catching an issue early means you can address it with small changes to diet or lifestyle, without needing medications or surgery. And if something more serious is found, acting quickly greatly increases the chances of a full recovery and returning to the life you love. After Larry's hospital visit, he started going to his doctor every year. The process became less intimidating, and he realized his fears were mostly unfounded. With guidance and support, he was able to control his symptoms and regain confidence in his daily life. He even encouraged his friends at church to get checked, turning his own experience into a lesson that helped others. For men over 65, avoiding the doctor doesn't mean you're strong. It just means you might miss a chance to stay healthy longer. Think of regular checkups as a tune-up for your body, much like you'd care for your car or home. Your health is your most valuable asset, and a little attention now can prevent bigger troubles down the road. So the next time you think about skipping that appointment, remember Larry's story, and know that seeing your doctor regularly is one of the best gifts you can give yourself and those who love you. Habit 5. Smoking or being around smokers. For years, the smell of tobacco was a part of daily life for many American men. Maybe you remember growing up when cigarette ads were on TV, and ashtrays sat on every coffee table. In those days, lighting up a cigarette or sharing a smoke with friends was as ordinary as having a cup of coffee. But as time passed, science and medicine revealed the darker truth. Smoking does more than harm your lungs or stain your fingers. It can have a devastating effect on your prostate, even if you've never smoked yourself but spent years around those who did. Let me tell you about Bill, a gentle man in his 70s who spent most of his life working in the auto repair business. Bill quit smoking decades ago, right after his first grandchild was born. But before that, it was just a part of the shop's culture. Everyone smoked during break, and sometimes the air hung heavy with smoke all day. Bill figured that once he gave up the habit, the worst was behind him. Yet as he grew older, He started to notice new problems. Waking up at night with the urgent need to use the bathroom, discomfort in his lower abdomen, and a steady, growing concern about his health. When Bill finally sat down with me, I explained what many people don't realize. The chemicals in cigarette smoke, even secondhand, travel far beyond the lungs. Tobacco smoke contains thousands of toxins that circulate through your blood, reaching every corner of your body, including the delicate tissues of your prostate. Over time, these toxins trigger inflammation and reduce blood flow, making it harder for the prostate to heal and easier for problems to grow. Even years after quitting, the damage caused by smoking can linger. For the prostate, this means a higher risk of swelling, discomfort, and even cancer. For those who have never smoked but spent years around smokers at home, work, or in public spaces, the risks still exist. The prostate, like the rest of your body, never truly forgets. For Bill, understanding this connection was eye-opening. He had always thought of his quitting as a victory over lung disease and heart trouble, but he never imagined his prostate would also pay the price for those earlier years. But here's the encouraging part. Your body has a remarkable capacity to heal, especially if you take steps to protect it now. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 2 below to let me know that you are still here with me. I encouraged Bill to continue avoiding smoke, to tell his loved ones to smoke outside if they must, and to focus on habits that would boost his body's ability to recover. Eating antioxidant-rich foods, like berries, leafy greens, and nuts, helped his body flush out toxins. Regular walks and gentle exercise improved his circulation, sending fresh blood to every organ, including his prostate. Within a few months, Bill noticed he was sleeping better, and his discomfort eased. For men over 65, the message is clear. Smoking is one of the worst habits for your prostate, and being around smokers is nearly as harmful. If you still smoke, it's never too late to quit. Support groups, medications, and even natural therapies can make a real difference. And if you've already quit or never smoked, protect yourself by keeping your environment smoke-free. Don't be shy about asking others to step outside, or about making your home and car a smoke-free zone. In the end, Bill became an advocate among his friends, reminding them that every step away from smoke is a step toward a healthier, more comfortable life. The years ahead are meant to be enjoyed, not spent managing needless discomfort or worry. By saying no to smoke, you're saying yes to your health, your future, and the moments that matter most. Habit 6. Holding in urine. For many men, the urge to hold off on a trip to the bathroom is just part of life. Maybe you're watching the last few minutes of a ball game on TV, waiting for your favorite song to finish on the radio, or you're out running errands and don't want to bother searching for a public restroom. It seems harmless enough. Just wait a little longer, you tell yourself, then you'll go. But what starts as an occasional delay can quietly turn into a daily habit, one that your prostate, and the rest of your urinary system, may eventually pay for. Let me share the story of Don, a proud Navy veteran in his late 60s. Don had always prided himself on his self-discipline and patience. He'd sat through long ceremonies, endured cross-country road trips without complaint, and rarely interrupted family gatherings just for a bathroom break. "It can wait," was practically his motto. But as the years passed, Don began to notice something changing. He'd feel uncomfortable pressure in his lower abdomen, especially in the evenings. Even after finally heading to the bathroom, he'd leave with a nagging sense that his bladder hadn't emptied. At night, he found himself waking up again and again, sleep broken by urgent trips down the hall. When Don came to see me, we talked about his habits, especially the times he'd chosen to ignore his bladder's signals. I explained that holding in urine for long stretches is far more damaging than most people realize, especially for men as they age. You see, your bladder and prostate are partners in a delicate dance. The bladder, like a balloon, fills with urine and relies on strong, coordinated muscles to push that liquid out when the time is right. The prostate, nestled just below the bladder, is part of the exit route. When you regularly hold in your urine, your bladder stretches and becomes less sensitive to its signals. Over time, this stretching places extra pressure right on the prostate, which is already prone to swelling in older men. The result? Irritation, inflammation, and an increased risk of the prostate enlarging even more. Worse yet, holding urine too long can weaken the muscles that help you fully empty your bladder. That means leftover urine sits around longer, creating a perfect breeding ground for bacteria, which can lead to infections and even more irritation. Don was surprised to learn that the trouble he'd chalked up to just getting older had as much to do with this lifelong habit as it did with time. I reassured him that he wasn't alone. Many men of his generation were taught to tough it out, or felt embarrassed to admit how often they needed to go. But I also told him that his body was sending important signals, and listening to them was an act of self-respect, not weakness. The good news for Don, and anyone else reading this, is that change can begin today. Making a habit of responding to the urge to urinate, instead of ignoring it, helps your bladder and prostate work together the way they were designed. There's no shame in excusing yourself during a social event or pausing your favorite TV show. It's one of the kindest things you can do for your health. After our conversation, Don started paying attention to his body's cues. He noticed that when he went to the bathroom as soon as he felt the urge, he slept better at night and felt less discomfort during the day. It didn't take long for him to realize how such a simple change could make a real difference. The next time you feel the need to go, remember Don's story, and know that looking after your bladder and prostate doesn't mean giving up your independence. It just means giving yourself permission to put your health first, one trip to the bathroom at a time. Habit 7. Overly spicy and processed foods. When you think back on your favorite meals, maybe you remember the tangy kick of hot sauce on chicken wings during football season, or the familiar crunch of a salty snack straight from the bag during a late-night movie. Maybe you love a bowl of chili loaded with spice, or can't resist a quick bite from the drive-thru when you're out and about. While these flavors can bring a sense of comfort and nostalgia, they can also be working against your body in ways that aren't always obvious, especially when it comes to your prostate. Let me tell you about Frank, a retired firefighter who always considered himself a man of simple pleasures. Frank loved his spicy foods, peppery barbecue ribs, jalapeno-laden nachos, and a generous splash of Tabasco on almost everything. He also enjoyed the convenience of frozen dinners and the occasional fast food burger, especially since cooking for one didn't seem worth the hassle after his wife passed. For years, Frank never thought much about what he ate, trusting that his body could handle whatever he threw at it. But after he turned 70, he started experiencing a burning sensation during urination, more frequent nighttime trips to the bathroom, and an uncomfortable pressure that lingered for days. When Frank finally visited my office, he was embarrassed to talk about his symptoms. But as we spoke, he realized that many of the foods he loved were silently making things worse. Spicy foods, especially when eaten daily, can irritate the lining of your bladder and prostate. The chemicals that give hot peppers their kick, like capsaicin, don't just heat your mouth. They can cause inflammation inside your body as well, leading to swelling and heightened sensitivity in the prostate. For a gland that's already more vulnerable with age, this is a recipe for discomfort. But the story doesn't end with spice. Processed foods, the kind that come in packages, cans, or fast food wrappers, are another silent enemy. Items like potato chips, cold cuts, and microwave dinners are packed with preservatives, sodium, and unhealthy fats. These ingredients are known to increase inflammation throughout the body, upset your natural hormone balance, and even promote water retention, putting more pressure on your bladder and prostate. Over time, too much processed food can also lead to weight gain, another risk factor for prostate issues. Frank was surprised to learn that his body's complaints weren't just bad luck or getting old, but a direct response to his daily diet. I encouraged him to try swapping some of his favorites for fresh, natural alternatives. Instead of fiery hot wings, he experimented with grilled chicken seasoned with herbs. He traded in processed meats for lean turkey and added more fruits and vegetables to his meals. Even his snacks changed, A handful of nuts or a cup of Greek yogurt became his new go-tos. Within a few weeks, Frank noticed he was sleeping better and feeling less urgency at night. The burning sensation faded, and he found himself enjoying meals in a whole new way. He discovered the subtle flavors of fresh foods and even tried his hand at cooking a few simple dishes, finding joy in the kitchen he hadn't felt in years. For many men, it's not about giving up the foods you love forever, but about making smarter choices most of the time. By cutting back on overly spicy and processed foods, and choosing more natural, anti-inflammatory options, you're not just helping your prostate, you're giving your entire body the support it needs to stay healthy and comfortable. The changes don't have to be drastic. Start by reading labels, trying one new vegetable each week, or flavoring your meals with herbs instead of hot sauce. Your body will thank you for the extra care, and you'll find that eating well can still be delicious, satisfying, and a true pleasure at any age. Habit 8. Excess caffeine. For many of us, a cup of coffee is more than just a drink. It's a morning ritual, a comforting routine that signals the start of the day. Whether it's the rich aroma filling the kitchen or the simple pleasure of that warm mug in your hands, coffee has earned a special place in countless lives. But as much as caffeine fuels our mornings, too much of it can quietly create problems, especially for men over 65 concerned about their prostate health. Take Bill, a retired postal worker who swore by his 3 or 4 cups of strong coffee every day. It was part of his routine, 1 cup right after waking up, another during the mid-morning break, and a couple more through the afternoon to keep him going. Bill loved the energy boost and the focus it gave him, and he didn't think twice about it. But over time, he started noticing more frequent urges to urinate, especially at night, waking him from deep sleep and leaving him tired the next day. When Bill came in for a checkup, we talked about his caffeine habits. He was surprised to learn how excess caffeine can affect the bladder and prostate in ways he hadn't considered. Caffeine is a natural diuretic, which means it makes you produce more urine. For someone with a sensitive or enlarged prostate, this extra urine production puts added pressure on the bladder, causing more frequent trips to the bathroom. But that's not all. Caffeine also stimulates the muscles around the bladder, making them contract more often. This can cause urgency, the sudden, intense need to go, even if the bladder isn't full. Worse yet, caffeine tightens the muscle at the neck of the bladder, making it harder to fully empty each time you go. Leftover urine builds up, increasing the risk of irritation, inflammation, and infections. Bill didn't want to give up coffee entirely. He just wanted relief from the constant bathroom breaks. I suggested a simple change. Keep the first cup in the morning, when it tends to cause fewer problems, but replace later cups with decaffeinated coffee or herbal tea. He was skeptical but willing to try. After a few weeks, Bill noticed a difference. The nighttime urgency decreased, and he was able to sleep longer stretches. His energy levels stayed steady, and he even discovered some new herbal teas he enjoyed. Moderation, it turns out, was the key. If you're over 65 and love your coffee, there's no need to panic or give it up completely. But it's important to pay attention to how much caffeine you're consuming throughout the day. Try swapping out that afternoon cup for water, decaf, or a calming herbal blend. Watch for patterns. Are you rushing to the bathroom more after a big mug of coffee? Does caffeine leave you feeling jittery or anxious? Listening to your body's signals is crucial. It's not just coffee. Caffeine lurks in many places, from soda to energy drinks and even some medications. Being mindful of all sources helps protect your bladder and prostate health. For men like Bill, a little awareness and a few simple swaps can make a huge difference. It's about enjoying the things you love without letting them control your life or comfort. The goal is balance, keeping your routine but reducing the strain on your body. Remember, the golden years are for savoring life's pleasures, whether that's a good cup of coffee, a morning walk, or time with family. By managing your caffeine intake wisely, you can keep those pleasures enjoyable and avoid the unnecessary discomfort that too much caffeine can bring. So, next time you reach for that second or third cup, think about your bladder and prostate. Maybe try a gentle herbal tea or a glass of water instead. Your body will thank you with better sleep, fewer trips to the bathroom, and a more comfortable day. Habit 9. Sitting for hours. As we get older, it's natural to slow down. After decades of busy schedules and hard work, many men find themselves settling into a quieter rhythm, enjoying the comfort of an armchair, watching TV, reading a book, or simply resting. But what often goes unnoticed is how spending long hours sitting can quietly harm your prostate and urinary health. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 3 below to let me know that you are still here with me. Take the story of Jim, a retired accountant in his early 70s who loved his daily routine of catching the evening news and settling into his favorite recliner for hours. Jim enjoyed these moments. They were his way to unwind after a long day and connect with the world. But gradually, he began to notice frequent bathroom visits, a feeling of urgency that interrupted his peace, and discomfort in his pelvic area. He didn't connect these symptoms to his sedentary habits until he came to see me. When we talked, I explained how sitting for long periods puts constant pressure on the pelvic area, including the prostate. This pressure reduces blood flow, which is essential for keeping tissues healthy and reducing inflammation. When blood doesn't circulate well, the prostate can become irritated and swollen, leading to the symptoms Jim experienced. But there's more. Staying seated for hours also weakens the muscles of the pelvic floor, the muscles that help control your bladder and support your prostate. Weakened muscles make it harder to empty the bladder fully, leaving leftover urine that can irritate the prostate and lead to infections. Over time, this cycle can worsen urinary symptoms and discomfort. Jim was surprised to learn that his favorite way to relax might be contributing to his problems. I reassured him that rest is important, but so is movement. Simple habits, like standing up every 30 minutes and walking around for a couple of minutes, can dramatically improve blood flow and relieve pressure on the prostate. Even a short stroll to the kitchen for a glass of water or a few gentle stretches can make a big difference. We talked about incorporating light daily exercise, such as walking or stretching, to strengthen pelvic muscles and improve overall health. Jim started setting reminders on his phone to take breaks during his TV time and noticed that moving more helped reduce his urgency and nighttime bathroom trips. For men over 65, balancing rest with regular movement is key. The body isn't designed to stay still for long stretches, and especially as we age, our muscles and circulation need that gentle encouragement to keep working well. Sitting for hours might feel comfortable, but it can lead to lasting discomfort and challenges. Jim's story is a reminder that small changes can have big impacts. Standing up more often, walking regularly, and doing simple pelvic floor exercises can help protect your prostate and improve your quality of life. It's about staying active in ways that feel good for you. Not running marathons, but moving enough to keep your body happy and healthy. So next time you settle into your chair, remember to take a moment to stand, stretch, and walk. Your prostate and bladder will thank you with fewer interruptions, less discomfort, and more restful nights. The years ahead are meant for enjoying life comfortably, and movement, no matter how small, is one of the best gifts you can give yourself. Habit 10. Drinking too little water. Staying hydrated might seem like a simple thing, but for many men over 65, drinking enough water isn't always at the top of the daily to-do list. Maybe you've noticed you cut back on fluids in the evening to avoid those frequent nighttime bathroom trips. Or perhaps you just don't feel as thirsty as you used to. It's understandable. Nobody wants to be waking up multiple times a night or rushing to find a restroom when they're out. But surprisingly, drinking too little water can make prostate and bladder problems worse. Take Frank, a retired mechanic who was convinced that drinking less water would mean fewer bathroom visits at night. For years, he'd sip only a little throughout the day and then avoid drinks altogether after dinner. But over time, Frank started noticing discomfort, the burning sensation during urination, frequent urges, and that persistent feeling like his bladder wasn't empty. When he came in to talk about these issues, we discussed how dehydration was likely playing a major role. Here's why water is so important. When you don't drink enough, your urine becomes concentrated and acidic. This thick, strong urine irritates the lining of the bladder and prostate, causing inflammation. The prostate, sitting just below the bladder, feels the impact directly. Over time, this irritation can lead to swelling and worsening urinary symptoms. On top of that, chronic dehydration makes it harder for your body to flush out toxins, which can build up and overload the entire urinary system. Many older adults also take medications that can cause dehydration without realizing it. Combine that with drinking less water, and the risk of inflammation and prostate issues increases. What's worse, a dehydrated body struggles to maintain healthy circulation and healing, meaning minor irritations don't get the care they need to resolve. Frank was surprised to learn that cutting back on water was doing more harm than good. I encouraged him to change his approach, not by gulping down large amounts all at once, but by sipping water steadily throughout the day. Ideally, your urine should be light yellow or almost clear, a simple sign that you're well hydrated. The key is balance. Enough water to keep everything flowing smoothly, but not so much that it overwhelms your bladder. Drinking water regularly also helps prevent the bladder from becoming irritated and reduces the likelihood of infections. For men over 65, good hydration supports the entire urinary tract and helps keep the prostate healthy. And contrary to what many think, drinking water doesn't have to mean more frequent trips to the bathroom at night. When you're properly hydrated during the day, your body can regulate itself better. Frank began to make small changes. He kept a water bottle handy and took regular sips, even when he wasn't thirsty. He also limited caffeine and alcohol, which can dehydrate you further. Over a few weeks, he felt noticeable improvements. His nighttime bathroom trips decreased, the burning sensation faded, and he felt more energetic throughout the day. Drinking enough water is one of the simplest, most natural ways to support your prostate and bladder health. It's a daily habit that costs nothing but can pay off enormously in comfort and quality of life. So, if you find yourself reaching for less water because you want fewer interruptions at night, remember Frank's story. Try sipping water throughout the day and watch how your body responds. Staying hydrated might just be the secret to fewer symptoms, better sleep, and a healthier prostate, giving you more time to enjoy the moments that matter. As we wrap up, it's important to remember that caring for your prostate is a journey made up of small but meaningful choices. Each habit you adjust, whether it's drinking more water, moving a little more, or managing stress, adds up over time, helping you live with greater comfort and confidence. It's never too late to start making these changes, and even one step today can lead to months or years of relief tomorrow. Your health is your greatest asset, and investing in it means more energy, better sleep, and the freedom to enjoy life without constant interruptions. Many men have found that understanding these habits and taking action has transformed their daily lives. They've reclaimed their nights, reduced discomfort, and embraced activities they love again. You deserve the same. Don't let avoidable habits stand between you and your best years. If you've learned something valuable today or are ready to take that first step toward better prostate health, I encourage you to share your thoughts below. Tell us which habit you plan to change or what surprised you the most. Your story might inspire others to start their journey. And if you found this video helpful, please like, share it with your friends and family, and subscribe to our channel. We're here to support you with more insights and tips designed especially for men over 65. Together, we can build a community focused on health, happiness, and living life to its fullest. Thank you for watching, and take good care of yourself. You deserve it.